SCP-4310, A Hero's Journey, about a giant centipede. The thumbnail from Dr. Bob looks pretty cool. It's like a knight fighting a big monster. This should be interesting. Guys, make sure to subscribe to Dr. Bob. Subscribe to me if you like reaction videos, and let's get into this SCP.
The 13-year-old boy gets a running
13.
start before leaping across from one moss-covered boulder to another.
Oh yeah,
he barely
he's
makes
adventuring.
the jump and turns around to admire how far he leaped. He continues along through the woods,
I was like that when I
hopping
was
over
a kid.
streams and making sure to swing on any hanging vines he can find, whether he needs to or not.
I'm gonna do my
He
best
picks
one,
up a
guys.
branch and starts to swing it against a tree, engaging in a life-and-death duel with the evil knight of the woods.
Heck yeah!
After slaying the knight, the boy solemnly salutes his fallen foe before mounting his trusty steed to ride deeper into the forest. He's all alone out here and must be thousands of miles from civilization.
Man,
The valiant knight unmounts from his horse and walks towards the culmination of his quest, the Tree of Lost Memories. Legend tells that anything buried beneath this tree will cease to exist. All memories of anything associated with the object buried will disappear from the minds of anyone involved.
Okay.
No one will ever bring them up again or wonder where the memories went.
Okay.
The knight takes a letter sealed with wax from where he was keeping it safely inside of his armor and kneels in front of the tree. He brushes the leaves and dirt away from a spot near the base of the tree and digs a small hole with his hands before placing the letter inside the hole.
Sure.
The boy looks down at the letter, satisfied with his work. He starts covering the letter inside the hole with dirt.
Does not pay
when he
attention
suddenly
in class.
stands up. Was that a noise? He listens again. It's not just a noise. It's a voice.
Okay.
The knight unsheathes his sword and starts making his way in the direction he can hear the sounds coming from. He follows a game trail through the woods towards the noise.
Okay.
There's no doubt, it's definitely a voice, and he can make it out clearly now. The wheel of history turns, and ages come and pass, leaving memories that become legend. The knight rounds a corner, and the woods open up into a clearing. In the middle of the grassy open area is a stone archway unconnected to any walls. When looking through the archway, though, one doesn't simply see the other side of the clearing. No, inside the archway is a beautiful white alabaster castle perched on rock overlooking the sea, its red-roofed turrets jutting high up into the clouds. And standing next to the archway that seems to lead to another land is an old man dressed in a long flowing robe,
you're alive!
a wizard's robe. The boy steps out of the woods into the clearing. What is this old man doing out here? And what's going on with this archway?
Right.
It really does look like it is showing something it shouldn't be able to. Legends fade to myth, and even myth is long forgotten when the age that gave it birth comes again. Are you talking to me? The boy asks. Venture forth and face your true calling.
Wow.
The wizard responds.
Narnia.
You are the one that has been prophesied, but have you what it takes to enter this land of adventure?
I was just dumping some evidence from my teachers
here. This
about
old
not
man
paying
must be
attention in
speaking
class.
to him, right? The boy tosses his stick to the ground and steps closer to the old man in the archway. He can see now that the surface of the archway appears to be shimmering, as if it were a vertical surface of water.
Yeah.
Only the truest of hearts may enter the magical archway, but for the fair and brave, a great quest awaits.
Or is this
a quest?
for real?
For me? The boy asks. But again, the old man doesn't respond. He doesn't seem to be looking at him either. Is this wise old man in the woods blind? The boy gets much closer now, close enough to wave his hand in front of the old man's face.
Be careful.
But there's no reaction. He really must be blind.
Zap you.
The boy looks back at the portal in the archway. He can see the waves breaking on the rocks and birds flying in the sky.
Sure.
He can even make out, up in one of the highest windows on the tallest tower, what looks to be a girl. She's waving her ribbon in the air. She's beckoning him. She needs the brave knight to come save her.
This was straight up
pursue your destiny,
luring him
and become the hero you were always meant to be.
Into a trap.
The boy is entranced by the beauty of this land, the castle, the clouds drifting between the white towers, the perfectly blue sea, and the beautiful princess locked in her tower, waiting for him.
It's like they know
what he wants. The boy reaches his hand through the surface of the archway, and it passes through as if nothing were there. But on the other side, it turns into the gauntleted hand of a knight. He pulls his hand back out, and it looks like his own hand once again. The boy thinks about his mother, yelling at him for drawing pictures of the lands he wished he could live in when he should be studying. He thinks of his teacher grabbing the fantasy book out of his hand and dropping it in the trash, calling it a waste of time. He thinks of his friends laughing when he came to school dressed as a knight. He knew he was destined for something greater.
Yep.
And here it finally is. He really is a knight.
Did he manifest?
He's the hero that was
though?
prophesied. He will become a
Or
legend.
Did the SCP
He's
manifest
special.
it based on his
The knight girds himself and steps
perception
forward into
and
the archway.
wishes?
As he does, he hears the old man still talking. The wheel of history turns, and ages come and pass, leaving memories that... The boy passes through the archway, and the castle, the sea, the princess, all of them disappear in an instant. The boy
He's in a
spins
cave.
around, but the archway constricts, snapping
Is it a
shut
mouth?
in a tight ball with him still inside.
It was all
The
a
old
trap.
man sinks to the ground as the archway seems to rotate.
Mhm.
The archway then also disappears into the earth
Ah,
as
it's a
something else
serpent.
emerges. A giant centipede appears out of the ground, its scaly body the
Centipede.
color of stone with movable plates on its posterior end that resembles the movement of cloth.
Uh-huh.
The centipede opens its mouth, and there's a sound like the cry of a child before it dives down and
It
disappears
got you.
under the dirt.
All a big ruse.
Have you ever thought that you are
Dang.
destined for something more? Do you
Yeah.
feel as if the worlds described in fantasy books and that are brought to life in movies and in video games
I mean,
are somehow
I play
the
games
places
for
you
a living.
actually
Of
belong?
course I do.
You're far from alone, but be careful, because it's exactly those thoughts that make you the prime target
No,
for
no, no.
SCP-4310,
No, I don't want to
a
sit
deadly predator that preys on those with the desire to embark on a hero's journey. SCP-4310 is an anomalous creature that resembles a common centipede in many ways,
Right.
though it has a number of traits that distinguish it from the kind you might find under a rock in the forest.
All right.
Perhaps most obvious is its size.
Yeah.
While some centipedes can grow as long as a foot, SCP-4310 is over 20 feet in length.
Wow.
This
that's a big
massive
one.
carnivorous centipede, which is native to Great Britain and Ireland, also has a hunting method
That
that
was
is
such
quite
a cool
distinct from
effect,
any
man.
arthropod, insect,
Nice,
or
Dr.
known
Bob.
animal at all, for that matter. SCP-4310 hunts by cocooning itself in a pair of keratin flaps that cover
Uh-huh.
its entire body except for its tail end, which is left
Okay.
exposed. The centipede then buries itself in the ground, keeping its head and the majority of its body under the ground,
Sure.
except for a portion that arcs above the ground in a semicircle shape, as well as its exposed posterior.
Uh-huh.
The centipede's end resembles an old man wearing robes, and the centipede is able to manipulate its rear legs in a way that resembles
Ah.
the movement of a mouth and jaw,
Weird.
giving the impression
dude.
that the old man is speaking.
Weird.
The rest of its body is contorted, and the legs are arranged in such a way to resemble a stone archway standing unsupported on the
Sure.
ground next to the old man.
Right.
Through a process that is yet to be understood by the Foundation, the centipede is able to produce a spatial anomaly in the area
Uh-huh.
where its body is taking on the form of an archway.
That's cool, man.
This spatial anomaly is actually a portal of sorts,
Sure.
a portal that leads directly into
Into its
SCP-4310's
gullet.
stomach. As soon as its prey enters the spatial anomaly, the centipede
Closes its
closes the
mouth.
portal.
Yeah.
Inside, paralysis-inducing enzymes incapacitate the prey as powerful stomach acids break down its meal
That's it.
over the
You
course
just
of several
digest it.
days. You may be thinking,
Wow.
I would never walk into an archway next to an old man in the middle of the forest. But SCP-4310 has two powerful mechanisms perfectly suited to luring its prey.
Hypnosis.
First, it is capable of emitting a pheromone that induces a state of mild euphoria, while at the same time suppressing fear and encouraging curiosity.
Makes you high a little
This
bit.
appears to affect all warm-blooded mammals,
Wow.
but humans and their natural inclination towards exploration makes them
Sure.
especially vulnerable to the effects.
Yeah.
The second method 4310 utilizes to acquire food is producing a very unique set of sounds.
Okay.
These sounds, which are made by rubbing together portions inside of its tail segment,
Like the
resemble
cricket.
English speech,
Oh,
and
okay.
are almost always phrases that describe quests, prophecies, and heroic deeds that can only be undertaken by journeying into the archway.
Sure.
SCP-4310 calls can last for as long as 3 minutes before they begin to repeat the series of heroic phrases,
All right.
and each instance of SCP-4310 appears to have its own unique set of calls to embark on adventure, but with all
Ah,
encouraging
so there's
entrance into the
more.
archway.
Okay.
It is unknown just how SCP-4310 learns these phrases, since, other than this advanced hunting technique, no instance of the anomalous creature has shown intelligence levels above that of an ordinary centipede.
Sure.
Interestingly, the same heroic speech sounds appear to also act as SCP-4310's mating call, and it is
Okay.
unknown if the luring of would-be adventurers by the noises is merely a lucky byproduct, or if it specifically uses the sounds for both
Weird,
mating
dude.
and eating.
That is strange.
SCP-4310 became known to the SCP Foundation in the 1950s, following an investigation into multiple missing
missing
persons in
persons.
Belfast, Northern Ireland. Agents searched a nearby forest and soon discovered human teeth in animal droppings concentrated around a wooded grotto.
Weird.
The grotto was excavated, and
He's
3
pooping.
instances of SCP-4310 were found hibernating beneath the ground.
Wow, okay.
It's since been learned that after eating their fill, SCP-4310 will enter a hibernation state that can last as long as 10 years.
Wow.
And it appeared that these 3 instances ate well, since the remains of over 70 children were eventually found in the immediate area. SCP-4310 has been classified as Euclid, and currently, 1 instance is kept in a containment cell for observation and testing.
Okay.
The cell has been filled with a thick layer of soil resembling that found in the temperate forests of Great Britain.
Y'all
And
feed it
once per
D-class?
week, 5 piglets are introduced
Savages.
into the Centipede's
No.
enclosure.
Just pigs.
Mobile Task Force Lambda 12, codenamed Pest Control, is dispatched to areas where there are reports of old men resembling wizards encouraging people to step through a magical archway.
Of course.
And the MTF agents are to exterminate any instances that they find in the
Killed.
wild. The
They
Foundation's Department of Analytics also monitors all contemporary British children's and young adult literature, especially the fantasy genre,
Of
for
course.
references to portals in the woods that lead to wondrous locations, and Lambda 12 is alerted to any that may be inspired by or referencing real SCP-4310 instances.
Interesting.
All of us fantasize from time to time about embarking on an epic quest that will allow us
Yeah.
to escape our regular lives.
It's true.
While it is fun to dream about
That's why
being
video
swept
games
off
are
to
nice,
another
yo.
world, be very careful if you meet an old man in the woods who tells you that your quest begins with
careful
stepping
if
through a
you meet
magical
anybody in the
archway,
woods,
or you
honestly.
might just find that your hero's journey
Regardless
starts
what they
and
look
ends
like.
in the belly of a giant centipede. Now go and watch another entry from the files of Dr. Bob.
We will, Dr. Bob. This was really, really good, man. You know, it seems a little bit far-fetched to think about that, but it's true, man. A lot of us live mundane lives, going to work every day to pay a car note, paying a car note to go to work. That's why you'll come see me, right? I play video games and do this because it's therapeutic. You need to find your muse, guys. Just don't go chasing wild men in the forest, okay? Guys, Dr. Bob, make sure to subscribe to him. Subscribe to me if you like reaction videos too. Thanks so much for watching. As always, this is Zueljin signing off. We'll see you next time.